Back to Mr. Orth's flipped classroom for grammar. Look at possessive case pronouns. Possessive pronouns are pronouns which show ownership or relationship. If we're dealing with possessive nouns, these are the ones that are going to be the always fun apostrophe S or S apostrophe. In terms of pronouns, we don't use apostrophes because that's a different rule, which we'll see in a couple slides. Examples of possessive pronouns. First person are my, mine, our, and ours. And yes, we'll talk about when to use each of these. Second person, your and yours. Third person, his, her, hers, its. Notice there's no apostrophe. Their, T-H-E-I-R, and theirs. These are possessive pronouns. In case you're wondering, use most of the forms without an S before a noun. They're in adjectives. My book as opposed to the book is mine. Our house versus that house is ours. So again, if it's my, our, your, her, their, T-H-E-I-R, those will always come in front of some other type of noun, and they'll be adjectives. Mine, ours, yours, hers, theirs won't be followed immediately by a noun. They're not describing that directly. They'll refer back to something else in the sentence. His and its can be used either way. The S form, again, is used to stand alone. We're not worried about what follows immediately after it, what part of speech. How do I use these? Well, find the pronouns in the sentence. So verify whether the pronoun here, the possessive pronoun, is used in front of a noun or if it's standing alone. If you have a participle, by the way, like the word swimming, which is used as a noun, then use the adjective form in front of it. Our swimming has been an exciting part of our summer. So we use it like it's a noun because it's a noun. If the participle is used as a verb, then decide if the nominative or objective case is appropriate. Meaning if we have a pronoun followed by a verb, whether it be linking or action, then we go back to the rules from lessons 1 and 2. All right, first thing to be very wary of is to watch out for contractions. Even advanced students of any age can make these kind of mistakes if they're not being careful, in part because it may not have been important enough in the past to spend time refining that skill. One way to think about this is in your formal writing, write out all of your contractions. Do not, in your written formal work, use contractions at all. Therefore, the only apostrophes you're going to use will be for possessives, and only because you're going to own it. In this case, anytime you want to talk about its, it has to be possessive, because you always write out it is in a formal piece of paper. Your should be a possessive of you as opposed to you are. Their is T-H-E-I-R, possessive of they, or as opposed to they are. Keep in mind T-H-E-R-E has to do with place or location, like the word here, H-E-R-E. Some practice. Your cat is my best friend. So find the pronouns. We have your and my. Your describes a cat, and my describes friend or best friend. So in both cases, they're followed by nouns, and that's the appropriate use. In the sentence, you're my best friend, is that my best friend is already describing best friend. Your and my wouldn't make sense back to back to describe something possessively. Plus, in that example, you're my best friend, there is no verb, unless we realize we meant to write you are, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. You are my best friend. Be mindful of this, especially when you read yearbook signings. They watched our talking at the restaurant. Sounds like an awkward example, and quite honestly, conversation sounds better than talking, but it goes to one of the unusual examples mentioned on the previous slide. They watched our talking at the restaurant. Ours, O-U-R. The question is this sentence about people who are talking, or is it about people who are watching? It's about watching. They watched what? Our talking at the restaurant. So we were talking, and therefore our owns that. We own our conversation. We own our talking, and therefore talking is considered a participle here, in this case, specifically a gerund. It's a noun form of ing. Kind of unusual. We haven't got to that in content yet, and we'll do so next semester. Okay. Personally, I'd rather you have it just say they watched us. They watched us conversing at the restaurant. It's the object form. It comes after an action verb, and it makes a bit more sense. But it's not uncommon for students to write things like in that first example there. All right, get to it. Follow the steps. Make sure you're checking to see whether or not it should be a contraction or it shouldn't, and whether it should have the S form or not. Good hunting.